Today's video is an absolute wild one, and I don't normally do videos like this because I always trust the whispers of the warp, and this information is very, very new. Like, it hasn't been vetted or anything like that, but it's so wild, I want to share it because there's loyalist Primarchs a part of this, there's traitor Primarchs, Iron Warriors, Vashtor, the ending narrative of 10th edition apparently jumping onto the next big narrative of 11th edition. So let's jump in, let's put our foil hats on. I need my foil hat on at this point, and let's get waffling. So according to this rumor, the focus on the end of 10th edition is all about the Emperor's Children and Fulgrim's return. Just like we got the Arcs of Omen in 9th edition, we're going to get a new narrative story that's all about Fulgrim and his return during the 10th edition saga. But apparently the big twist here is that Leman Russ is not supposed to be coming back this edition, but next edition in 11th. Instead, what's supposed to happen during the end narrative of 10th edition is that Lionel Johnson and Rebuti Gilliman are going to in fact meet up, and they're going to join forces and actually take Fulgrim on together. Now, another narrative plot on top of Fulgrim's return, and I think this is kind of bleeding into 11th edition as well, if I'm reading this correctly, it's all about Vashtor. This is going to be Vashtor's ascension to becoming one of the next Chaos Gods, and apparently according to this rumor, he seeks the aid of another traitor Primarch. That traitor Primarch is none other than Perturabo and his Iron Warriors, which kind of does make sense because the Iron Warriors are working with Vashtor at this moment in time, and Vashtor, according to the lore that we've already gotten during the Arcs of Omen and little bits and stuff that we've seen during the current stuff, is that Vashtor has worked with Perturabo in the past to make like monstrous demon engines and stuff. So for me, that seems kind of viable if they are going down that route with the lore. And the big thing about this team up is that the rumor is saying this is supposed to launch the Iron Warriors as the next big independent army for Chaos Space Marines, which again does make sense because by this time we will have Fulgrim for Slaanesh, we've got Death Guard for Mortarion and Nurgle, we've got World Eaters and Angron for Khorne, and of course we've got Magnus and the Thousand Sons for Tzeentch, and you don't really have like a Chaos Undivided faction out there. It would make sense that Perturabo and his Iron Warriors are that Chaos Undivided faction. They're aligned to all the Chaos Gods rather than one Chaos God. And this then is supposed to open more doors for more factions, one being the Dark Mechanicum. How many times have people requested the Dark Mech be added to the game? It's on the same request as like Traitor Guard and stuff like that. Again, according to this rumor source, is that we're gonna get stuff like Cultists for the Dark Mech, similar to like Zangors and Poxwalkers and stuff, which you can then use with that Chaos Undivided faction. And with Vashtor now seeking to become that next Chaos God, his ritual is apparently ruined by a loyalist Primarch returning to the setting. That loyalist Primarch is none other than Leman Russ himself, you know, the Primarch of the Space Wolves. And again, according to this rumor, we're gonna have like a matchup of Perturabo versus the Space Wolves, Perturabo versus Leman Russ himself, while Vashtor is trying to do that ascension to godhood. But of course it looks like Leman Russ wins because apparently the ritual is stopped and he doesn't achieve his goal of becoming the next Chaos God. Now, I will be the first one to stand up and say that seems too good to be true. Again, rumors are rumors, as I always say. Rumors are lies. I won't be surprised if this person who sent me this is just doing it to troll me. But what I would say, you know, I'll hammer it back at you. Please go and apply at Games Workshop, because what you've just wrote, right, is probably better than anything that they've put out in the narrative over the last couple of years. It absolutely does sound amazing. Well, it sounds amazing to me. Like, if we did get Perturabo returning, the Iron Warriors returning, having them as like that independent Chaos Space Marine faction, a new Primarch, demonic Primarch, Perturabo model, like a big cyborg model. That's something as an Imperial Fist fan, I would absolutely love to see. I say it on my streams every single time. There's nothing more than I want to do is blow Perturabo off my battlefield. Now, I can officially do it if he's got a model. It'd be amazing. Like, I've defeated Perturabo in the name of Rogel Dawn. So fingers crossed that does happen with the whole Vashdor Ascension and stuff like that. I think, you know, he's never really going to become a Chaos God. There's 4 big Chaos Gods, and that's it. I think it's just, you know, it's just a something that Vashdor wants to get, and hopefully that will never happen. But then bringing like Leman Russ into the mix, and then Russ stopping that Ascension is probably going to be kind of big for the lore. And then, you know, Leman Russ fighting Perturabo. That's a matchup which I don't think we've ever even talked about or really ever seen during the Siege of Terror or the Horus Heresy books. Have the Space Wolves ever crossed paths with the Iron Warriors? I'm not too sure, but that would be amazing. I would love to see Leman Russ take on a demonic Primarch that is Perturabo. Cyborg Pert taking on maybe Old Man Odin Leman Russ. That would be an absolute win-win situation for me. And just before I end the video, I do want to end on a rumor that I did hear from the Whispers of the Warp, which may lay some concrete foundation to this, and that is all about 11th edition. And I know some people are going to say, why are you talking about 11th edition already? GW, I'm going to put out a new edition every, 3 to 4 years, somewhere like that. That's what they've been doing now. So I'm not surprised I'm starting to hear things about 11th edition with models and narrative and stuff like that at this point in time. One of the whispers that I did hear is that the Space Wolves and the Orcs are apparently going to have a massive, massive big battle. And that may potentially be one of the launch boxes, if not the big launch box for 11th edition. Space Marines versus Orcs, with the theme of the Space Wolves taking on the Orc menace. Because with everything happening, the Orcs have been building up their forces. Again, you know, there's rumors of like we're returning to Armageddon and stuff like that. So yeah, I can see it. I can see some pretty big things happening, certainly with the Space Wolves and, you know, the so-called Leman Russ stuff coming back and everything like that. I'm just excited. Like, again, I don't normally make videos around this because this source hasn't proven anything to me or anything like that. But when I read it, I was like, do you know what? Even if this is fake, it sounds absolutely amazing. Who would not want the Iron Warriors to come back and be like an independent faction, get a bunch of new models, new demonic Primarch model, etc., etc., like I've already stated? I think that would be a perfect way for Games Workshop to do it then, because you've got the 4 Chaos Gods and the factions that are all dedicated to them for Chaos Space Marines, and then you've got some nice independent Chaos Space Marines as well. I know you can argue, well, what about Black Legion? Yeah, but they're all Abaddon simps, right? We want more demonic Primarch simps that are not aligned to Chaos Gods. Word Bearers, Night Lords, you could probably argue, and of course, the Iron Warriors, maybe even Alpha Legion, if you want to put it out there. Maybe Red Corsairs, I don't know, right? There's so many bloody options, but Iron Warriors sound good to me. Anyway, thank you for coming, thank you for watching. Enough waffling, as always. If you've got any thoughts, feedback, anything like that, post it down below. Do you hate it? Do you love it? Do you think it's all made up? There's another 4chan post. Who bloody knows, right? You tell me. I love it. I really want this to happen now. I think it would be absolutely fantastic. See you in a bit. Have a great day, evening, night, wherever you are in the world, and bye-bye.